And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of New Earth TV Live. Good to see you all here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar. Great to see everybody once again for another episode. We're going to have some great content today. We're going to be getting into Q&A here later on. We're going to be doing a mass earth meditation, and then we'll be getting into some distance healing first of all. But first and foremost, before we get into any of that, we'll go ahead and we'll start off with some announcements. Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing to detoxify, rejuvenate, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code Cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
And of course, all three Healing Code card decks are available in printed edition. So the body deck, the mind deck, and the energy deck. The energy deck has come in now. So I have all three card decks in printed edition that are available, and of course they're in their printed digital editions as well too. A lot of people get confused between the printed and the digital editions, so again, this is just a heads up for everybody. If you guys want the printed physical deck, you want to make sure you're grabbing the printed edition. Okay, a lot of people grab the digital editions and they contact me after and say, oh my god, I thought this was the printed edition. No guys, no. Digital edition is the digital download, right? That's when you get the cards online. That's when you get them delivered to your email, okay? And they're in their digital edition. But if you want the physical printed deck, make sure you're ordering the printed edition and not the digital. This happens so often. Of course, there's the promo code that's still available up until Halloween, October 15. October 15. Make sure you're using all capital letters for that. And you can get 15% off all products. So that's both the printed and the digital editions as well too. And it's good to Halloween, and it's one use per customer. And some news with the private sessions as well too. There is a promo code. It's called Take 20 Off. That too is in all caps. And you can get 20% off all sessions. It's good till November 3rd. So private sessions, 3 questions by email, and the Akashic Record sessions as well too are affected by this. So again, you can go to newearthteachings.com, use that promo code when you check out, take 20 off, okay? And all capital letters for that. And you get 20% off the sessions. And of course, we still have a couple spots left for the Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge tour. They have been selling out really, really quickly. So this is wonderful to see. But we do have a couple spots left. So again, if you want to register for the Kundalini and Inner Practices Stonehenge tour, which is taking place from July 30th to August 6th, which I'll be hosting. Like I said, we're going to be visiting Stonehenge. We're going to be looking at a crop circle museum. We'll be looking more deeper into crop circles. We're going to be exploring Avalon and the Arthurian legend. We're going to be making physical contact with the Pleiades, right, and the Pleiadians. And of course, Kundalini awakening, and of course, the introduction to the new abidance method, which will be quite fascinating too. So you can register now. Just go to wowtours.de. That's WOW tours.de, and you can register for this amazing tour to come. Oops, I don't have my Odyssey logo there. But anyways, everything is backed up onto Odyssey. So again, if you want to check on our backup channel, you can just go to the video description, odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. I was sorting my computer out last night and misplaced a few logos. Oh well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's broadcast. So I said first thing we're going to be looking into is doing the Mass Earth meditation. So I don't think I have my Mass Earth graphic. No, I do not. Because I was backing everything up last night. So I think we'll just stay with the live chat feed for now for the Mass Earth meditation. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to go ahead and do some heart rate variability breathing, and we'll get right into the meditation itself. So for those of you who want to join in, just go ahead now and get yourself nice and relaxed, making sure the spine is nice and straight. You can also lay down for this, so if you want to lay down on a couch or a bed, you can do that too, or you can sit in a chair, or you can sit cross-legged. But we're just going to do some HRV, some heart rate variability. So again, we're breathing in for 4 seconds through the nose, breathing out 6 seconds through the nose. So with the eyes closed, spine nice and straight, take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time, and in. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. And we're going to do a special version of the Mass Earth meditation today, and it's going to start just right where you are, presently in the physical body. What I want you to do right now is I want you just to be aware of what is directly in front of you right now. And I want you just to trace forward, move forward, many, many miles ahead, just from wherever you are in the world. I want you just to feel with your awareness as you're moving forward without moving the physical body. You are aware of what is ahead of you, spanning that out for hundreds and thousands of miles. And coming back to your center, I want you to be aware of what's behind you and tracing that backwards, moving in that backwards motion through your awareness, stretching out hundreds and thousands of miles. And coming back to your center, and then stretching out all the way to your left, everything that's there, everything that you're aware of to your left, and stretching it out hundreds of thousands of miles, just so you cover the entire circumference of the earth from hundreds to thousands of miles. And coming back to your center, stretching out to the right, stretching out through your awareness, going out hundreds to thousands of miles to the right. And coming back to your center, and now going upwards, moving yourself upwards, up through the sky, hundreds and thousands of miles upwards. Coming back to your center, and now below you, going down hundreds to thousands of miles below. And coming back to your center. So we have created an XYZ axis, and that you are now fully aware of the entire planet as you have stretched out your awareness to encompass the entire earth. And now I want you to feel your astral body growing. I want you to feel like you're getting bigger and bigger, taller and taller, larger and larger, more and more gigantic. Seeing yourself as thousands of feet tall. where you are just standing above the earth completely in a gigantic astral form. And it's like the earth is your footstool, and you are simply looking at the earth astrally through this giant astral form that you now are. And you're just looking down at the earth, and you feel your feet just hovering above her nice and gently, just levitating very slowly and softly right above the earth. And now you are adjusting yourself so that the earth is in your field of vision, is directly in front of you. I want you just to be aware of the earth entirely here. Being aware of her land, her oceans, her life forms, the sky, the atmosphere, everything. Just being completely aware of the earth. I want you to feel that really wonderful feeling of goodness inside you. Something that feels very, very joyful, very loving, very compassionate. There's just that pure inner joy. I want you just to look into a moment of your life where you felt like everything was joyful, everything was peaceful, everything was loving, compassionate. I want you to bring that moment up into your awareness right now. And really exaggerate that positive moment. Really exaggerate that love energy. Exaggerate that beautiful moment. Make it even more beautiful. Make it even more beautiful. Make it even more beautiful. I want you just to peel away that thought right now. So we're throwing away mind, and we're just staying with that feeling of love. And now I want you to feel that ball of love just coming into you right now. Flowing through your body, coming in right through the heart, and just flowing through your arms, flowing into your hands, and that beautiful, perfect moment that you feel, representing all of this love behind it. That is what you are now going to emanate upon the earth. So just feeling your hands, holding the earth in between your palms like a ball. And as you feel your palms there, you are just dispersing all of this pure love that you received from that perfect moment. And just concentrating and letting all of that love energy flow directly into the earth. Let it flow into her atmosphere, flowing into her sky. Let it flow through the north and southern poles of the earth. Let it flow inside her. Let the entire earth be completely saturated by this pure, loving energy. As you do that, we're just going to take 2 minutes of silence and just concentrating our love energy upon the earth, beginning now. Okay, and taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And just feel all of the conclusion of that love energy flowing through the earth, knowing that she has received all of the love energy that you have provided. Just giving her a moment now just to give love and blessings and appreciation to the Mother Earth, knowing that all the love that you have given her will make all the difference in the world. And now just feeling yourself starting to shrink, your astral body, starting to see it now return back into the same size as your physical body, to where you currently are located physically on the earth. And just take a moment now to return back into the physical body, to return back into your beingness. And just take a moment just to do a little bit of movement throughout the body. Rotating the wrists, moving the fingers, curling the toes, rotating the shoulders, fluttering the eyes, maybe giving the bit of the back a gentle twist. And when you are ready, you may return. Okay, very good. So thank you everybody who participated with that. I appreciate that. Let me just go ahead and switch screens there. There we go. Okay, so we want to remember we're doing that very frequently with Mother Earth. Like I said, if you miss today's meditation, just go back into the recording. You can do it again and again and again. Of course, I've done this numerous times throughout the live webcasts over the last several months. So there's always a wonderful Mass Earth meditation to do. But the more that we're doing that, this really helps, right? A lot of people are wondering about the chaos and the intensities and the insanities going on upon the planet. Well, it's because we're all emotionally hot, right? We got all of this emotional heat. We start bringing that love energy towards the earth. That's helping to cool everything down. So it's good to keep up with that, to work with these meditations. There's also some other great Mass Earth meditations on YouTube as well too. So just check it out and do your part, right? Send your love to the earth. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and move on into distance healing, okay? So if you guys do have any distance healing requests, either for yourself or for somebody else, you can feel free to put that into the chat. For those of you in that sense who offer donations, very kind of you. That will bring you front in line for your healing requests as well too. Okay, so let me just go into the chat now, and we'll take a look and see who's here. Hello everybody, welcome. Good to see you all. Actually did get a donation from Karina at the start of the broadcast, so thank you for that, Karina. Appreciate that. Okay. Okay, before we get into the healing request, there's a question here I think I'll tackle before we get started with that. It's from Karina. Karina asks a question. Hello, Brad, and everyone here. I have a question about the healing code cards. Which one is for the hormones? Well, I did that on purpose, okay? I didn't create a hormones card. It's not about that, right? It's not trying to heal your hormones. And if that's basically what medical science has taught us, it's a bunch of bunk, okay? It's not about healing hormones. It's like, oh, I'm going to go right into my hormones and heal my hormones. No, 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 no. What we want to do is we want to heal our major organs. We want to heal our glands. We want to heal our bodily systems in the body, okay? As you start to work on healing that, that balances everything, okay? Hormones in that sense are an effect. They're not the cause, okay? So when you're looking at the idea of, oh, I have a hormonal imbalance, so I need to fix the hormones, that's wrong thinking, right? That's not what it's about. It's about working together with your body, okay? Working with your organs, working with the glands, working with the bodily systems. So again, the Healing Code Cards body deck does that. We have the energy deck as well too here, okay? Healing Code Cards energy deck, like I said, my two favorite cards in the energy deck. The positive polarity collector, the negative polarity receiver. Putting that on your organs, okay? So maybe starting off with the heart, then going down to the lungs, going down to the liver, going down to the stomach, going down to the pancreas, the spleen, okay? The kidneys, the intestines, right? Working with your glands as well too. That's what's going to help with rebalancing yourself. It's not so much an idea of saying, oh yeah, my hormones are out of balance and I'm just so hormonal and I need to fix the hormones. It's no. It doesn't work that way. When you're looking at hormones, that is an effect. That's not the cause, okay? So we want to make sure we're taking good care of our organs. We're taking good care of the cellular body as well, too. We're taking care of our nervous system. We're taking care of our glands. We're taking care of the bodily systems, okay? As you start to work together with that over time, then you'll notice that you'll move much more into our hormonal rebalancing, okay? But it's through those main areas that we want to tackle first, okay? So work with the body deck. You can work with all three decks. All three decks work with the physical body in their own way. The mind deck is more for the emotional and mental body, but it still works in clearing out the physical at the same time. So all three decks do work on the physical body. They just have their own respective forms of orientations to healing the body, okay? So work with that. Work with your organs. Work with your glands. Work with your bodily systems. That's going to help with rebalancing, okay? Thank you, Karina. All right. So just give me a moment here, guys, as I'm just going down the list. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Okay. Okay, I got a healing request here for Sunflower. Sunflower says, "Hi, Brad, could you please heal my migraine? Thank you." Okay, so Sunflower, I will go ahead and work with you. I also got another contribution here, so I'll get to the contributor next, and that's Crystal Princess. So Sunflower, yes, we will certainly work on your migraine. So all I want you to do right now, Sunflower, is just get yourself nice and relaxed, making sure the spine is nice and straight. You can place your hands upon the center of your chest. We'll take 3 deep breaths in and out together. Inhale. And out. Inhale. And out. And one more time, inhale. And out. And just bringing your hands now into prayer posture. Feeling your heart opening up like a blossoming flower. Feeling all of that spirit light coming out of the heart and moving in between the palms. Okay. And we're just going to expand that heart light with our hands as we're reaching out, making that light permeate the entire cosmos. This is your love, your trust, your faith. And as we slowly bring those hands back, very slowly back to prayer posture, we're saying the following affirmation: I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. And hands back to prayer posture. And Sunflower, just let yourself relax, and we will go ahead now and begin. Okay, so Sunflower, just expanding your hands out again, just collecting all of that light, returning that light slowly back into your heart. As you're doing that, just saying the affirmation: God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. Bringing all of that love energy back into the heart. And letting yourself realize now that healing is now complete and that your migraine will dissolve. it will be released completely. Okay. So again, this is going to take place between now and the next 7 days. Probably with a migraine, we'll probably see it a lot sooner, probably within the next 24 hours. Okay. So let me know how you're feeling after a little while. You can always drop me an email on my website, earthteachings.com. Go to the contact page. You can always send me an update there. Okay. So again, migraines are caused often by heavy anxiety, right? If we're stressing about a lot of things, if we're overthinking, we're feeling insecure, we're feeling vulnerable, we're feeling pain in the body, we're wondering about our physical health, right? We're stressing about financial matters, family matters, etc. It's just all of that accumulated strain, stress, and tension. So again, work with the release ball method on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I have 2 videos of it. One video I suggest watching is the release ball method virtual demonstration video. Okay, you'll find that on my YouTube channel. Work with that. Look at any particular strain, stress, tension, everything that you're being emotionally triggered by. Put that in the ball, surrender to it completely, release it, go free. Okay, but this will help you with tackling those migraines. Right? So infinite blessings to you. Namaskar. Okay, let me just go down to Crystal Princess. This Crystal Princess here had a request by contribution, so thank you for that. So Crystal Princess says, healing request, I have some lumps in my throat with pain, and my voice has been hoarse since I felt something tear last time I was sick. So vocal cords. Okay, so Crystal Princess, yes, we will certainly do that for you, help you out there. So just go ahead and place your hands now upon the center of your chest. Take a deep breath in and out. And once again. And one more time. Okay, hands in prayer posture. Connecting to the heart. Letting the heart open up like a blossoming flower. Letting all of that heart light connect in between the palms. Expanding the hands out. Making it bigger and bigger. Letting the light completely permeate the vast cosmos. Your love, your trust, your faith. And bringing those hands back slowly, saying the affirmation. I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Okay? We will go ahead now and begin. Okay, Crystal Princess, just taking your hands down, bringing that light back into yourself, slowly towards the heart. As you're bringing that light back in, saying the affirmation, God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. Bringing all of that love energy back into the heart. Knowing that the healing is now complete, it is done, and you will recover. Okay? So infinite love and blessings to you. Namaskar. Thank you very much. Okay, got a request here from Grow as well. Grow says, I really want healing for my mother. She struggles a lot with her legs and is dizzy. Okay. So again, as this will be for your mother, didn't get her name, so I'll just refer to her as Grow's mother. I'll be connecting with her higher self for you. Okay, so we'll work with her legs and dizziness. So I just invite Grow's mother right now to be present with me. And Grow, if you want to send loving energy in the background, you can. Same with anybody else. Okay, Grow's mother's higher self is now present with me. And again, higher self knows what to do. Spanning the light out. Bringing it back. I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Okay, and then we'll now begin. Okay, to her higher self, she's bringing all of that light back into herself. God is making her better. God is making her better. God is making her better. All of that light returning to the heart. Healing is now complete, and she will recover. Infinite love and blessings to her, and to you, Grow. Thank you. Namaskar. Okay, so we'll do 2 more healing requests, then we're going to do a group healing, then we'll get right into Q&A. Okay. So, all right. Okay, this one here is from Sugas Trevi. So Sugas, hello. I feel like I need to come out of my body with severe anxiety. Help. Okay. So Sugas, no problem. I will go ahead and work with your anxiety, bodily anxiety. So Sugas, just be present with me right now. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in and out. So deep breath in. And again. And once more. Very good. Okay, placing your hands in prayer posture, opening up the heart. Letting all of that love energy from the heart come in between your palms. Expanding them out now, expanding the light, permeating the entire cosmos. Your love, your trust, your faith. As you bring those hands back toward yourself, nice and slowly, saying the affirmation. I completely believe that the healing that I shall receive will heal me. Keeping your hands together in prayer posture. And now we'll work together with that body anxiety. Here we go. Okay, so Sugis, just bringing all of that light now back into yourself, saying, God is making me better. God is making me better. God is making me better. Putting all of that love back into your heart. Okay, you are well. You are perfect. Knowing that this healing is complete and you will fully recover. Infinite love and blessings to you. Namaskar. Okay, we'll do our last individual healing. Then we'll get into group healing. And so again, guys, if you have some questions ready, again, you can ask questions on any topic as long as it's semi-personal or general in nature. Again, for personal questions, that's where private sessions come in. All right. So I think we'll take Sonia here as the last person. Sonia says, Hi, Brad. My adult son, Devin, suffers from PTSD due to a childhood traumatic event of which he has a foggy memory other than the trauma. Okay. We really cannot do distance healing for that, Sonia. Okay. The reason being is because this PTSD is haunting him too much. I would need to work with him in person. Okay. So when a person has a severity like that with PTSD, even with distance healing, they're not willing to let that go. Unfortunately, with PTSD is an identity crisis. Okay, so they're holding on to their identity way too much. Now, what you can do with him, Sonia, is you can help him out with a couple of things. Number one is you can show him the prana transmission technique. Okay, with prana transmission technique, if he's willing to try it, that can certainly help. Okay, second thing he can do is working with the release ball method. Okay. That can help him if he's willing to try. Third thing he can do, work with the healing code cards. Okay, so the two methods here with the videos. Third being the healing code cards, right? Working with the energy deck, the mind deck, the body deck. I'd say a combination of all three decks can help him out. But the most important thing is if we can have a personal interaction with him. Okay, so if he wants to do a session with me, and if he wants to look into that PTSD, and if he needs some help there, I can help him. But unfortunately, even when I'm sending distance healing to him, he's just not going to accept it, right? The whole idea of PTSD is that you are really heavily just clamped into that identity crisis. So even when there's loving energy coming in, he won't accept it, okay? It'll just be hanging around in his field. So this is what I would suggest for him altogether, is working with those things that I've suggested, okay? And that will help him out. But with a person with PTSD, we have to talk to them personally. We need to have that interaction so I can help them through that process. Okay? Blessings to both of you. But look into those options to help him out. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can do one more healing request here. Okay, I have Co-Create Happy here. So I'll end with Co-Create Happy. Co-Create Happy says, please help me stick to a healthy liquid fast, as it's been the most effective way to detox my high heavy metals, especially mercury, but I've had issues sticking to it long enough. Okay, so Co-Create Happy, you don't really need me to do this. This is where you want to work with prana transmission technique or release ball method, right? Because all that is just a thought. That's just a belief that you have, okay? Feeling that I can't stick with a liquid diet, a liquid fast, or I'm just having too much of these cravings, and I want to have food, solid food, etc. So when you're doing prana transmission, and this is what we can do together today, Co-Create Happy, is I want you to do the prana transmission technique with me, okay? And we're going to help to shrink that thought, clear that away, and then we'll go into phase 2. We'll work with spirit, clear away the cellular body as well too, okay? So I think this will help you a lot, Co-Create Happy. And like I said, just go to prana transmission technique, go into version 2, okay? Version 2 is with the Om chanting. And if that works great, keep working with that. If you feel like you want to do something even more deeper, then go into the release ball method. But together with you and me today, Co-Create, we'll do prana transmission technique, okay? So all I want you to do is keep your spine nice and straight, and I want you just to hold your hand out like this, okay? This is the thought barrier. This is the thought problem. So this is what's representing the thought conflict that's feeling that I can't stick with my liquid diet, all right? So I just want you to feel like your hand here is the thought, okay? That's the problem. Right. So now that you're aware of that, it's like you're seeing all the inflammation around the hand right here. We're going to aim right for the middle with the Om chanting, okay? So we're going to do 3 Om chants, okay? Then we'll pause for a moment, then we're going to do 3 more, and then you'll work with me together, and we'll go into the second phase where we're clearing out that debris from the physical body, to which spirit will help you with. Okay? So again, co-create happy, seeing your hand here, aiming right to the heart of this belief system, the heart of this thought. Okay? Take a deep breath in and do an Om chant with me from where you are. Om. Second time, inhale. Om. Third time, inhale. Okay, so co-create happy. I want you just to feel into that right now and just asking yourself, is that thought still present with me? Is that thought barrier still there? Okay. If it's not, you don't have to do the next 3 with me, but if it is still there, we're going to do the next 3 now. Okay. So another 3 Om chants. Deep breath in. Aiming for the center. Om. Second time. Om. Last time. Om. Okay. So again, checking in. Co-create if it wasn't gone the first time. Check in the second time. If it's completely gone, great work. If it's not gone, on your own time, just go ahead and do a third round of those 3 Om chants, the third run. Okay? But what we're going to do now, co-create happy, is we're just going to put both of our hands up just like this. We're now going to go into transmission phase. So all I want you to do right now is we're going to do 3 deep breaths, breathing into the nose, out the nose, heart rate variability, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, and as you're breathing in spirit. As you're breathing out spirit. Okay? So we're going to do that a total of 3 times, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Okay? So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in and out spirit. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knowing that spirit is with you now. Okay? So I want you just to surrender. And we're just going to say our Sankalpa. Okay, our Sankalpa is like our soul intention here. Okay? So we're talking to spirit and saying, Divine Spirit, clear away all that remains of this problem. And so it is. Okay? So I want you just to take a moment now. Just close your eyes and just breathing normally. And just knowing that spirit is taking care of that spirit is dissolving all of those tendencies, those problems, those conflicts within you that represented your doubt and hesitation to remain in a liquid diet. Just feel it all melting away. You're not doing anything, you're just being the witness. Spirit is doing the work. And if you want to do heart rate variability again, you can. Otherwise, you can just breathe normally. It's fine either way. And intuition will tell you when you're done. Okay? Intuition will tell you when you're done. And then you'll just come back into natural state. All right? So co-create happy. Thank you very much. Keep working with prana transmission technique. Work with release ball method as well too. It's all you need to do. It's just a thought and you're clearing it. It's no problem. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, everybody. We're now going to go ahead and do a group healing. And we're going to get right into questions. So for everybody who wants to join me, make sure your spine is nice and straight. And we're going to do a quick body scan. Okay, so I just want you to scan your body right now. And we're also going to do prana transmission technique, just the first phase together here in this group healing today. Okay, so first phase of prana transmission technique. Now I want you just to do that body scan. And whatever you feel like doesn't belong there, doesn't feel like it belongs in you, and you're ready to let go of it. That's the key, right? Because I ask, okay, if I'm going to take this out, am I ready to let this go? Am I ready to completely surrender this to the divine? Yes. Okay, great. Feel yourself extracting that ball, letting it just sit directly in front of you, and that ball has all of that black mist debris inside of it. Okay? And it can be anything physically, mentally, emotionally. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that black ball. So we're doing a bit of a different group healing today, just working with the first phase alone with prana transmission technique. Okay. So with that ball there, you can place your hands just like this, and it's kind of like you're shining rays of light from your hands towards that ball. Okay. And now that ray of light, or both those rays of light from your hand that is penetrating this ball, is going to carry the Om sound directly into that ball. And you're going to watch that ball shrink before your eyes. Okay? So with your spine nice and straight, we'll go ahead and we'll do 3 Om chants. Taking a deep breath in. Projecting it to the center of the ball. Last time. Okay, checking in. Is that ball still there? Okay, if the ball is completely gone, you're good. For those of you, if the ball is still there, we're going to do a second round here now, a second run of the 3 Om chants. Okay, so just bringing your hands back up, feeling the light penetrating that ball, aiming for the center, the core of that ball, as we Om chant another 3 times. Deep breath in. Last time. And relax. Okay. If you need to do it for a 3rd time, just go ahead and do it for a 3rd time. And if you want to include phase 2, just go back to like what I was doing with Co-Create Happy, right? We lift our hands up. We're breathing through heart rate variability, breathing in spirit, breathing out spirit, breathing in spirit, breathing out spirit, breathing in spirit, breathing out spirit, saying our Sankalpa, right? So that can be divine spirit, clear away all issues pertaining to this problem. And so it is. Okay? And we just stay there. Intuition will let you know when you're finished. But you let spirit do the work because you breathe spirit into you. Okay? So spirit does the work when you're there. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being part of the group healing. Thank you for your requests as well, too. So now we're going to go ahead and move on into questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and put... Actually, no, what am I thinking? No, never mind. I can stay in live chat. Okay, yeah. So we'll go through the list here and see what questions you guys have today. So some questions, depending on them, I will do with the tarot with them. Or I can just go into higher self transmission and answer the questions that way too. Now here's another thing that I forgot to mention in today's announcements when it comes to New Earth Teachings with the sessions. So with the private sessions, I'll be happy to do higher self transmissions through the sessions as well too. So if you basically just said, "Hey Brett, I just want to talk to the higher self today," let's just do a higher self transmission through a private session, just like what you guys see me do through the signposts and like what you guys see me do with transmissions of the higher self, right? Where I basically just close my eyes. It's not a channeling state, right? It's just me going into the higher self and speaking as the higher self, right? It's not a channeling state because there's no other consciousness. There's no entity coming through, right? I am the entity. I am the consciousness, right? So this is why it's not a channeling state. But it has a familiarity similar to how when I was channeling Adronis. But it's just pure higher self transmission, and it's very beautiful. So if that's an option that you want through the private sessions, that certainly is available. Because I know I've had a lot of people who have been Adronis supporters for a very, very long time, and they think, well, Brad's given up on Adronis, so maybe I can't hang around his channel anymore. Well, that's not true. So I'm going to be doing a lot more transmissions of the higher self episodes, and again, transmissions of the higher self through private sessions as well too. Okay, so if that's something that you want to do, that's something you can ask for when you're doing a private session with me. Okay, so I forgot to mention that in the announcements today, so there you have it. All right, let's go ahead and start with some questions here. I'm going to go at the top and I'll kind of work my way down. And love to see everybody all over the world participating in this chat here. Hello, everybody. Great to see you all. All right. Okay, so here's a question here from Matthias. Matthias has a very interesting cosmic question here. Matthias asked the question, what type of beings inhabit the star Cassiopeia? All right, thank you, Matthias. If I was to align awareness into the star of Cassiopeia, you would understand that there are human groups that exist upon 3 different planets contained within Cassiopeia. You would understand these 3 planets very generally to be Cassiopeia A, B, and C. They work together as a triad unity collective, which means they share each other's planets together. The planets that they occupy are very similar to Earth, though they do have different orientations of ecosystems. Their days are quite often much longer than those of the days here on Earth. They also have a binary star system contained within Cassiopeia. From their vantage point, they are surrounded by actually 2 suns and not 1. The trajectory of the other sun, in that sense, is a greater distance away, so it would be seen as a smaller point of light. But nonetheless, in the idea of Cassiopeia A, B, and C, the human groups in this particular way, some are, as you would say, Caucasian in nature. There are also those in that sense that are of a pastel green color. There are also those who are somewhat, as you would say, jet black. And so these are certain races that are, again, are of human nature that exist upon these 3 planets. And they work together in a triad unity collective, a organization, as it were, and they share each other's worlds together. They have evolved upon these planets for a great deal of time. It would go back spanning billions of years. So they are very much an ancient race, all 3 that we refer to as the Cassiopeia A, B, and C group collective. So again, they are operating there, and some of them are actually in contact with certain people here on the Earth who may, in that sense, channel them or have direct empathic contact with them as well, too. But they do offer assistance to many different worlds. They do have, in that sense, a way of ancient intergalactic connection, to which would be referred to as you would say, spacecraft that can go in and out of dimensions, having their own pocket dimensions. In fact, we would say that there would be a great deal of Cassiopeians even here in this star system. But again, they are sharing associated installations, primarily through the Oort cloud and even in some of the outer territories between the areas of Neptune and Uranus. So they do have certain presences here, from the ones that I am currently aware of, that are also in this star system, helping out in many different ways. In fact, there are quite a few here on the Earth that are in stasis bodies, and they are also working in that particular way. So Cassiopeians, quite commonly in that sense, are very good with agriculture. They are also very good technologists as well, too. They are able to develop their own spacecraft. They also work together in helping to develop spacecraft for other civilizations to which they are in alliance with. But the triad, collective, Cassiopeia A, B, and C, all work together. They construct, they build, they share together all of their resources throughout all 3 of the planets that exist within the Cassiopeian star system, as it can be termed. All right, thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you, Matthias. That was a very good question. So I hope that answer satisfied you. All right, let's go to Mon Meg. Mon says, "Please, Brad, tell us what we can do against the chemtrails around the world." That is not really something of an agenda that you would need to be concerned about anymore. Now, even though there are chemtrails that are being sprayed quite commonly throughout the skies, that is not indicating in that sense a danger anymore. It has already been stated that many of the chemtrails upon your skies are actually being replaced. There still are certain countries that do utilize hazardous chemtrails upon the skies, but again, many of them are going into a state of decline, simply because many of the factories and other installations that have been responsible for the production of chemtrails have been infiltrated and are being shut down, and that there are, as it were, replacement chemtrails that are taking place upon the skies. So they are not always, as one would say, the poisonous toxic chemtrails that one may be familiar with. You will notice in that sense that they actually have a different type of hue to the ones that are being spoken of. They have a little bit more of a thicker mixture to themselves, and this actually represents much more of an alchemical formula to actually helping with repairing the sky. It's not that every single country has that yet. Particularly the United States is still battling with this. There is still a war of chemtrails, particularly around the United States, where this is still happening. But if you are wondering about what you can personally do to assist in the dissolvement of the chemtrails, well, that's where you talk to your heart. That's where you talk to spirit. That's where you go within and you feel all of those chemicals that are being placed upon the sky starting to vanish, starting to dissolve. Just know that they are being dissolved. Just know that the sky is able to create an alchemical transmutation effect that will transform all of those harsh chemicals back into the purity of ozone, back into the purity of oxygen and the natural gases that are within your sky and atmosphere of the earth. See that transmutation effect happen. Come together in groups. Meditate on those particular chemtrails to where you feel that all of the hazardous ones, because, of course, Spirit knows the hazardous ones, and dissolve each of them, just with the transmutation effect of taking all of those harsh chemicals and neutralizing them back into the organic gases that your planet uses through oxygen, through hydrogen, through all the appropriate gases that can be converted in that way. For this can be done if the visualization and the intent behind it, most importantly, is there. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Mon. Okay. So this one here is from Sean Reichak. Sean says, "Hi Brad, could you talk about the dark night of the soul and offer any insights or advice on how to get through or navigate it?" All right. Well, basically, the dark night of the soul is not a time period, right? It's a time for you. It's representing that you are seeing that everything in life that you have been told that you thought was real was not, right? So it's basically, as you could call it, a coming of age, right? So when we realize a lot of these things that we have been feeding throughout our lifetime about how we look at the world, how we look at finances, how we look at career, the state of the world, current events, etc. When you realize that it's not what it seems and you're troubled by it, well, this would represent your own personal dark night of the soul. Now, are we going through this collectively in a way? Yes, but it's not a dark night. We'd be looking at dark years of the soul, as it were. So it's a reflection time. The way where we are on the planet right now is a reflection time to helping us see everything that we thought the world is pertaining to artificial discussion, artificial systems, artificial implantation of all of this regurgitated, useless knowledge is not the truth. It's not the way of things. And for me to truly get out of my own personal dark night of the soul, I need to come into surrender. I need to liberate myself from all of these problems. I need to clear them away. For as long as we're trying to use the mind to heal the mind, you won't do it. Okay? Guys, it's not about taking a negative and turning it into a positive. Let's take a look at that, okay? I want you to think of a negative situation. Okay? And then I want you to think of a positive situation and try to put the two together. Okay, positive will eat up the negative. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, so all that's left here is the positive situation. But then something else negative comes up. Oh, well, I got to eat that too with positive. Nom, 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 nom. Right? But what I'm doing, as soon as I'm playing with that, I'm playing with the positivity polarity, which means I'm only able to accept things that I consider in life to be positive. Anything negative, I need to run from, I need to avoid, I need to destroy, I need to dismantle, I need to dissolve because this is negative, this is negative, this is negative, this is negative. And what you're actually doing is you're putting yourself in a positive prison. Okay? It feels very comfortable to be positive, but you shun the capability of your growth by doing that. Okay? It's not about taking a negative and turning it into a positive. Okay? That's wrong thinking. What is it that makes a battery? Right? The positive and the negative are here that makes up that battery to supply energy. Okay? So the positive's not trying to kill away the negative's not trying to kill away the positive. You need the positive and negative in their respective poles to create that charge. So it's not about killing away the negative. It's not about trying to obliterate or even run away or leave the negative alone. Okay? It's about being able to embrace the entirety of you. It's listening to those things that are conflicting, to those things that are troubling, to those things that are causing you to have your dark night of the soul, and accepting them, completely accepting them as they are and surrendering to them. So when we surrender, we don't obliterate. When we surrender, we don't destroy. When we surrender, we don't escape. We don't run away. Okay? So this is why you're coming into surrender. So even when we're doing the BCR technique, because we're bringing ourselves into loving reinforcement, right? When we're in that loving reinforcement state, we're now able to completely surrender to everything because we've made ourselves high, right? We get high on love. And now even if we see a negative situation, we're able to embrace it. We're able to see it for what it is, and we're able to completely let it go, right? So that's, again, what the BCR technique teaches you guys through the 30-day challenge. It's not taking a negative and turning it into a positive. Okay, it just doesn't work. I used to try that. I thought, okay, maybe we can do that, right? In my earlier years, I think, okay, I'll take this negative and I'll turn it into a positive, and I'd get some relief. And I was like, okay, that feels really, really nice. And then a few days later, it comes back. And I see how I'm taking the side of the positive, and I'm trying to shun away the negative like it's some horrible beast, like it's some demonic entity in that way. And that doesn't work, okay? When you're going through the dark night of your soul, it's all about the ability for you to surrender, okay? So that's what we do in prana transmission technique. That's what we do in BCR technique. That's what we do with cord removal healing. That's what we do with the release ball method. That's what we do in the abode, okay? When you're in the abode, you are the self. It's all about surrender, okay? So I've talked about the abode on my YouTube channel as well. I'm teaching my students this, right? About just surrendering to everything, because we get into the habit, because we hear all these experts about, here's what you can do to reprogram your mind. Here's what you can do to eliminate negative thinking. That's all a bunch of garbage, okay? No offense to those experts, but they're dishing out a bunch of crap, okay? That's a bunch of garbage. It is not about reprogramming your mind so that you never have a negative thought. Do you know how limiting that is? No, that's not good reprogramming, okay? You got to be careful with neuro-linguistic programming, right? I've even have students in that sense that are very fond of the idea of reprogramming the mind or trying to work with the mind to try and get these things together, right? I work with clients who are the same way. So you got to start dropping that, right? It's not to say that you cannot work with the mind. You can certainly work with the mind, but you have to be up here and the mind is down here. It cannot work if the mind's up here and you're down here. And say, oh, mighty mind, okay, I'll try and change you around. I'll try switching around the polarities. I'll try doing this. I'll try doing that. You're going to put yourself into a rut, okay? This is why I say it's a positive prison. It's not about taking a negative and turning it into a positive. Don't do that, okay? It's a waste of your time. It doesn't get you anywhere, and it's nothing but a temporary relief, right? It's like having a nice massage. Oh, that feels good, but is that massage going to last the rest of your life? No. You'll feel good for a day or two, and then, ugh, I feel grumpy again. Well, that's what happens when you try to turn a negative into a positive. Don't do it. Instead, surrender. That's our key. Our key here is to see what we have. We have to look at it face to face. We acknowledge what we have. Okay, if I'm feeling jealous about a person, okay, I'm going to admit that. Yes, I feel jealousy. I'm feeling jealousy. Come up here. Okay, surrender, 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 surrender. Put that into the ball. Surrender, surrender. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Right? How do you feel now? Yeah, it's gone. It's completely gone. Release. Gone. That's it. I didn't need to fritz around with negative and positive. See? That's what the mind does. That's how stupid it is. Right? That's how we put our linear-based thinking into these things. And a lot of these experts, these scientists and these doctors, they're constantly saying, okay, we got to reprogram the mind, guys. We got to do neurolinguistic programming. We're going to teach you so you never have a negative thought again. Are you kidding me? You're turning a person into a robot. Okay? That's idiotic. That's not the answer. The answer is surrendering. It is to surrender. It is to come into the heart. It is to come into the soul, because what is the soul? The soul is witness consciousness. Okay? It is the witness body. That's where you want to be. So when I am being, I'm the soul. So therefore, as I'm surrendering, as I'm letting go, as I'm just staying in beingness, that is the greatest thing you could ever do for yourself. Okay? We surrender all these things, and that's how we get out of the dark night of the soul. We surrender these tendencies. We surrender these emotional conflicts. We surrender these traumas. We don't try to pick up a sword and a shield and try to fight it, because you will be fighting endlessly and you'll never win, because it spawns again. It spawns and spawns and spawns and spawns, right? If you think your idea is to go into the darkness with a sword and shield and just fight it all away, you're deluding yourself, because you're going to spend eternity doing that. It will never, ever end. It will take new forms. It will take new identities. It will shift itself into new approaches. And these objects of hatred and negativity will continue to fester in you. It's like Jesus used to say, right? He who lives by the sword dies by it. He's not just talking about the idea people who wanted to be warriors and kill people with the sword. No, it's the idea that the sword is the idea of you retaliating against yourself. You're fighting your very own creations, and it's never going to end. It will kill you, right? So that is how we liberate ourselves from the dark night of the soul. We liberate ourselves from the dark night of the soul by surrendering, okay? By being the soul, right? So if there's a dark night of the soul, that's just a common expression, right? But when we are the soul, there's no dark night, right? There's light and there's dark, and it doesn't bother you. You're learning to be completely and totally imperturbable when you are in surrender, when you are free. Okay? That's what I'm attempting to teach you guys on this YouTube channel, not just with my students, not just with my clients, with you guys too. I'm teaching you guys how to go free. But the problem you guys have is you listen to a lot of these things about the mind is this and the mind is that and the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. Yes, we can work with the mind, and through that idea of the mind functioning as a servant for you, it can bring you into some very loving situations, right? But if we're constantly at the beck and call of thinking that the mind is our boss and the mind is our overlord, and we're constantly giving over to the mind, that's where there's going to be problems, okay? So you need to be aware of that. But that's how you clear away the idea of the quote-unquote dark night of the soul. It's just the idea of you coming to terms with yourself. It's getting out of your own duality. The dark night of the soul is duality, and it's helping you to come into the non-dual by surrendering. Okay? So very good question, Sean. Thank you for that. Okay. David of Shield says the chemtrails is a sign of humanity slowly losing its mind. No, don't blame this on humanity, David, okay? It's not humanity's fault. Okay? This is all part of the old controllers. The old controllers in that sense that are just being completely ignorant with greed and corruption, right? This is not something that the average human wants in their skies. They're constantly looking at that, and they may be ignorant to it, but no, it's not something that humanity wants, and it's going to lead to the downfall of such chemtrail agendas. Like I said, the United States is still pretty much a war zone with the idea of chemtrails right now. But no, we don't tag this on all 8 billion humans on the planet, okay? These are people in that sense of the very few, like you could basically say it's the less than 1%, okay, that have instituted this whole thing to try to keep the vibration of the planet low, to try to keep people sick, to try to keep people in fear, to try to keep people in control. It's exactly what the entire point of these chemtrail agendas are, and now they're just starting to, right now, get busted, okay? So I don't think it's going to last too much longer, but like I said, we come together in groups, And we can heal this. We can transmute it completely. All right. Okay, I got an update here from Sugus. Sugus says, thank you for your healing. You don't know how much you've helped. Oh, great. I'm glad that helped you, Sugus. Blessings to you, and thank you. Okay, here's a question here from Kim. Kim says, hi, Brad. Why should we sit upright to meditate instead of lying down? It's not to say that you can't. It just depends on the meditation in that way. For example, if we're working with the chakras, we really want to feel the spine erect, okay? This is like your altar, right? The spine is your altar. So when we're working with something like Om Japa, when we're working with Kundalini in that sense, we don't lie down for that because you want to feel your spine upright. That's part of the circuit, okay? So through most meditations, not all, but through most meditations, particularly with ancient yoga practices as well too, they will always get you to make sure that your spine is erect because you have to feel the circuit. That's what completes the circuit. So when we're cross-legged, maybe we're in half lotus, maybe we're in full lotus, maybe we're in Sukhasana, whatever it may be, okay? That's completing a circuit. And so being in that circuit is the requirement if we want to work with the chakra centers, if we want to raise Kundalini, if we want to do certain forms of pranayama breathing as well too, if we want to expand ourselves, go into expanded awareness, going into higher bliss states, okay, very commonly it's to sit cross-legged, okay, but you can also sit in a chair. The most important thing is that your spine is erect, okay, so even if you're just sitting out like in an L position where your legs are fully stretched out, that's okay. Even if you're sitting in a chair and your spine is erect, okay, that's fine. You're completing the circuit, okay, and again, if you want to really cross the legs and do half lotus, full lotus, or anything of that nature, if you can do it, that's a bonus because that's actually creating a complete circuit. So as long as we're sitting upright like this, we're creating a partial circuit, but that partial circuit is appropriate to the work that we need to do. When people want to go into deeper states of samadhi, they would basically go into cross-legged positions like half lotus, full lotus, sukhasana, padmasana, etc. Okay, so there's just different types of cross-legged poses that can benefit the person. And like I said, that's us going into a complete circuit and going into these much deeper states. That's what helps. Now, there are some things you can do when you're laying down, right? So for example, if you're doing heart rate variability and you want to lay down, you can lay down. There are certain meditations that even in yoga, you can lay down, okay? Yoga Nidra, guys, is all about being in corpse pose. It's all about being in Shavasana, okay? I've talked about Yoga Nidra briefly on this channel, not too much, but I'm actually going to start doing some Yoga Nidra meditations here in the next little while, okay? And all that is, it's no more different than you going to a yoga class and you're in Shavasana. You're in corpse pose, okay? So you're just laying down on your mat. You can also lay down on a couch like that. You can lay down on your bed like that. And Yoga Nidra basically represents yogic sleep or psychic sleep. We can call it that way. That as well too. But basically we're using that, and then we're laying down for that as well too. So it depends. So basically if you want to get much more deeper disciplined into meditation, into going into higher bliss states, into raising your Kundalini and so forth, that involves sitting, okay? But there are some that involves laying down. It's just the idea of compiling the circuit, making the circuit possible so that the energy flows in the natural way it needs to, and that comes quite commonly through the upright position. Okay? That's the idea. Thank you for your question. Okay, here's a question here that I actually like to get into too. Mihail Norton says, question, some people say that Kali Yuga lasts 400,000 years and only 5,000 have passed. Where did this come from? Great, grave miscalculation, okay? That is not the case at all. That is a complete and total misnomer. That is something that has been greatly distorted, okay? Guys, we are in Dwapara Yuga right now. We are not in Kali, okay? Kali Yuga ended quite some time ago. I'd say maybe going back many hundreds of years. I'm not too sure of the exact dates here. Basically, what I can say is that we're moving into Treta Yuga here around 2082, 2083. I know a lot of people don't think highly of Sadhguru, right? But he did a video in regards to the yugas, and even checking his math, he's actually very correct. I know people have mixed feelings about the guy. But nonetheless, I agree with his math. Okay, so there's a video he did about the yugas, where he actually gave the accurate calculations pertaining to the yugas. Okay, so right now, here we are in 2022, and I believe it's around 2082 or 2083. I think it's 2083. that we're moving into Treta Yuga. Okay, so we're almost finished Dwapara Yuga, guys. Okay, so again, we have 4 yugas. We have Kali Yuga, which is like the darkest one of them all. Okay, then we have Dwapara Yuga, where we start to see a little bit more of a critical awakening. We start to see humanity starting to wake up a lot more, which is certainly what we've been through here these past few decades. Okay, and then after Dwapara Yuga, we go into Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is much more of an evolutionary time. That's kind of like the age of Aquarius, you could say, where people are now starting to uplift, meditation, connecting to your spiritual self, to yourself, as being a lot more universally accepted, right? Because everybody I'm talking to right now, even people on the street, are talking about meditation. It's wonderful to see, okay? So Treta Yuga is, again, like that great age of awakening, like age of Aquarius, okay? Then we go into Sat Yuga, which is like a complete and total evolutionary shift in consciousness for humanity, where the idea of moving much more into your spiritual self is the norm, okay? It's like being part of a spiritual utopia with Sat Yuga, okay? So right now, even from what Sadhguru was talking about, is that we're in Dwapara Yuga right now, okay? And we're moving upwards, and we're going towards Treta Yuga. Now, a lot of people have completely misconstrued the idea of the calculations, okay, pertaining to the yugas themselves. They have been greatly exaggerated. They have been greatly incorrect, okay? So if you're seeing something where it feels like Kali Yuga lasts 400,000 years, guys, that is a major miscalculation, because that's not the amount of time that our solar system revolves around Sirius, okay? Sirius A is in yoga referred to as the great sun, okay? Here's our sun. And throughout the process of the yugas, we go around Sirius A, okay? So it's kind of like it's not quite centered. It's a little more veered off, so it'd be more towards this way. The closer you are to the sun, the greater the age, okay? So when we get closer to this time, this would be the idea of Treta Yuga, Sat Yuga, okay? And then it comes back down and it goes further away from the sun, where we'd see Kali Yuga, and then starting to move back into an approach again of Dwapara Yuga, okay? So Kali and Dwapara would be the 2 darker ages. But again, the good news with Dwapara is that we're starting to get out of that. So we're seeing this coming of age. We're seeing this shift. Guys, this is the very reason why we've been experiencing everything. Everything the way it is. Because we're starting to move up that loop again, where we're getting closer to Sirius, and then that light is touching our solar system, okay? So Sirius A, very enormous star, right? Massive. And when we get closer to that star altogether through the procession of the yugas, that's what really brings ourselves into a greater state of enlightenment, okay? So it could show that maybe Sirius in the night sky has been a little bit brighter in the greater ages of past than we may realize, okay? So interesting idea. But this is, again, the process of the yugas. This is what the yogis have been talking about for many thousands of years, about the process of yuga, right? And the rotation of our star with the companion star of Sirius. Now, here's another thing you guys need to know, okay? So if Sirius is our companion star, we also have a companion star too. Do you guys know what that companion star is? That's Nibiru, okay? Nibiru is a brown dwarf star. It's actually a companion star as well too. So it too has yugas, and it revolves around our sun as well too. We don't know the precession of its yuga count, but it also has yuga as well too. So when you guys have always talked about Nibiru, okay, Nibiru is a star. That's what it represents, and it has an orbiting planet there, okay? So yes, there has been times in the ancient past where Nibiru has gotten closer to our sun through its yuga precession, okay? So just as we have our yuga precession with Sirius A, Adronos's home star, and our sun, again, has the smaller companion star with Nibiru. So in actuality, we're a trinary star system, okay? Sirius A is our companion star. Nibiru is our little companion star, okay? So we are actually part of a trinary star system, okay? That's our role here, all right? So, Mihal, that's what I can say about the yugas, all right? So watch that Sadhguru video. Like I said, I know some people aren't too high on him, but he's quite accurate with the idea of calculation, all right? And like I said, if we're not high on somebody, guys, you need to learn to let that go. You need to surrender, okay? Doesn't matter who it is. If you have a problem with them, no matter what they are like or what they do, That's your problem. Okay? It's the same thing if we despise somebody who's a politician, or we despise somebody because they're part of the World Economic Forum. As long as you have a problem with them, that's going to bring you misery. When I look at all these people, I don't have any problems with them at all, right? Completely at peace with them because they are children of God like any other. Even if they're misguided, even if they're ignorant, that's okay, right? They are still children of God, and there's no lack of love that I have for them either, okay? Not saying I'm going on a picnic with them, and I certainly don't agree with what they're doing. I certainly don't agree with their ways of life, but again, they are still children of God, right? And that's how you have to look at it. Even though I don't agree with how they live, even though I don't agree with how they think, even though I think that they're greatly misguided and they're greatly ignorant and they're filled with greed, doesn't mean that my lack of love isn't there for them, right? That's what actually helps to turn people around, is when you do not hold grudges, you are not holding judgment, because now you're just putting yourself in misery by doing that. Forgive them. That's the idea, and that's what we do through surrender, okay? Okay. So let me just go down the list here a bit more, looking for some more questions. Okay, here's a question here from Leica. This is a political question. Leica says, what do the cards say, will Finland join NATO? Okay, let's take a look and see if Finland is going to join NATO. Okay, seems like they probably are going to be, yes. Okay, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that we think is going to be dreadful in that way, because NATO, I think, is going to be going through a complete and total revamping here very, very soon. Okay, so here's the pass card, right? So it kind of feels like an invitation, but this also feels like a stage thing, right? This is just all part of the narrative. So whatever is actually happening where Finland actually joins them, it doesn't feel real. It feels more so just like a staged idea or a staged coup. I think the media is trying to tell the world that Finland is going to join, but there's some sort of catch here. Okay, so on the surface it does look like yes, they will. Okay, but there's something else here, and these are all very positive cards as well too. This feels like something that's, like I said, maybe a coup or some sort of shenanigan that's taking place that may backfire. But so again, this here with the Queen of Pentacles, is this a hopeful thing? Is this a fearful thing? Feels quite positive, actually, with what is taking place here pertaining to Finland looking to join NATO in that way. Whatever is happening, it's actually going to lead to a very positive outcome. Okay, so it may be all part of a plan of bringing down the old degrees of NATO, right? The old husk that they are wearing altogether. Because this is nothing but positive cards here that I'm seeing. So it feels like there's some type of unification happening here, or again, a fellowship that's coming together. Because I think NATO itself is not the same NATO that we know. I think it's basically being completely decimated and dissolved from within, so that the new husk of it can birth into something else, maybe something much more legitimate. So from the cards here, it says yes, it looks like Finland will be joining, but it's not what we think it is. It feels like it's something very, very different, right? So when we're seeing the Justice and the Four of Wands here together, these two are mirroring one another, right? So Justice is mirroring together with the idea of the Four of Wands. So my feeling is that there's takedowns happening. There's takedown happening, and I think Finland is also part of the guys that may be helping to take down NATO from within. It's kind of the feeling I'm getting here, right? So the answer, yes, but it's not as what we think it is. It feels like something very, very different, some type of takedown happening, some sort of reinstitution happening with NATO in that sense, because NATO, of course, has been a dark cabal entity for a very, very long time, but it feels like they're going through shifts. I've actually had readings on that in the past, where NATO is going through restructuring. It's being dissolved from within, dismantled from within is a better word, and made into something else. So it could even become a counterforce entity in the short times ahead too. So like I said, don't always fall to what you hear in the mainstream media. There's always some ridiculous narrative that they're trying to pump in, okay? But it feels like this is something much more of a very different situation. But even I got the Magician card. So to me, this feels like it's nothing but a facade. It's nothing but a joke. It's nothing but an official narrative. All right. Thank you, Leica. Okay. Yeah, MAA says here, I'm pretty sure that NATO and its fellow DS agencies will soon matter no more. I believe Brad has said NATO has been taken over. Yes, it has been taken over. I'd say basically it's been put in line for quite some time. It's kind of like an entity that no longer has its tendrils, trying to outstretch and rule everything. It basically feels kind of like the World Economic Forum as well, too. That entity also does not have its own tendrils to wrap around things anymore. It, too, has been infiltrated by the counterforces, okay? So like I said, I know the mainstream media and even some of the alternative stream media is going to say different things about that, but again, I'm listening to what Spirit is saying through the cards, and that's not what's happening. A lot of things are being dismantled right now. The counterforces are so ahead of the game right now. The light is shining so brightly. That light can never be taken over again. The darkness is just in much more of a smaller cubicle right now, and most of the entire infrastructure is being brought into the counterforces. So it's really, really good to see. Okay, let's see here. What's next? Asanya asks, why would we need replacement chemtrail? Well, basically, they're doing it for covers. If we're basically seeing covers in that sense where there's completely different colors of chemtrail in the sky, it might be something different in that way. So basically what they're doing is they're using kind of like antidote-based chemtrails. There are certain countries that are doing it. Like I said, the United States is still kind of a war zone with chemtrails, but a lot of other countries in that sense may have different sprays of chemtrails that are actually not harmful. This is what I've been getting for quite some time, because I've constantly asked again and again and again, what's happening with this chemtrail agenda? What's taking place here? And it's just constantly saying, don't worry about it. It's being replaced, right? There's been replacements taking place of it right now. So the chemtrails that we're seeing are something completely new. They're of a different composition, and they may actually help to clear away the dangerous chemicals that are actually in the atmosphere. So other than that, that's the information that is constantly being given to me. Even I remember Janine was talking about the chemtrails as well too, and I believe she said the same thing about the idea that the chemtrail agenda is not really a big thing anymore. It's being replaced. There's replacements taking place. So her and I feel have said the same thing about chemtrails. I could be wrong, but I think I remember a video where she was talking about chemtrails and saying the same thing I was about it. Okay. Well, David of Shield says, so one group is trying to poison the skies, another group is trying to fix the damage. Well, let's take a look at this, David. One group has been trying to kill off 90% of the population of the planet, and another group has been trying to prevent that. Right? So that's the whole idea. And the group that's trying to prevent that is now becoming much more larger, exponentially larger. Okay? This is the whole idea. Like I said, guys, when you look at the counter forces and the people behind it, a lot of these people are ex-Cabal members, okay, who have basically seen the light. And they're giving up all those old things, but they still play the same kind of rough games as the Dark Cabal does. So this is basically why they're attracting one another, right? It's just polar opposites, and they're fighting and they're clashing each other. And basically the counter forces are basically going to eat them alive. And once the counter forces are now completely successful, then they'll start dissolving a lot of their own tasks and being able to move into much more of a different type of equilibrium, right? So everything just kind of balances it. It's like looking at this fire fighting fire here, right? We got the counter forces being this huge blaze of fire, and we're seeing the Dark Cabal losing all of its oxygen because this fire is gulping it up so much, right? Until that flame goes out. And then once that's done, then everything just starts to form equilibrium with itself. Things start to change. Things start to happen that move much more into a illuminating direction, okay? So it's the same thing with anything else. They're trying to ramp up gas prices and energy prices, and the other group is trying to prevent that, okay? This is all part of it, right? One group is trying to poison everything. The other person is trying to take care of that and try to get antidotes to prevent that poisoning. That's the nature of the relationship. It's like their yin and yang are fighting. It's the clashing. Okay? It's just how things are going, man. I'm not inventing the script. This is basically what we're just seeing. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. I think we're going to take maybe about one or two more questions. So I'm just going to look and see if we've got some good ones here to end on. I think we'll probably take, yeah, two more should be good. Okay, the man demands says, "Hey Brad, in previous lives you mentioned that you were a big anime." This really isn't an important question, so I think I'm going to skip it for now. The man demands. I thought it was leading into something else, but you guys aren't here to watch me talk about animes. Okay, we got better things to talk about than that. But I appreciate the question, anyways. All right. Anna asked the question, could you do an online event for helping to eliminate chemtrails? Maybe we can do that next week, right? Maybe when we do the mass meditation, we'll do something with chemtrails, clearing away the skies, or basically just reverberating the frequencies of the planet and releasing a lot of the toxins there. So yeah, we could do that. But we're also doing that in the Earth meditations as well too. When you guys are sending love to the entire planet, it affects everything, right? It doesn't just affect the human beings on the planet, it affects the nature, it affects the environment, it affects everything. But what we can do next week, I'll try to remember that as well too, is we can do a special chemtrail guided meditation for next Friday. Okay? Let's see here. Okay, so we'll take one more question here. Okay, I think we'll end with Common Sense's question here. Is it important to read and know the Akashic Records? Will it tell past, present, or future events? Well, that's what I'm doing with Akashic Records sessions, guys. I tune into you, and I look into your Akasha, just in regards to messages pertaining to past lifetimes or probable future lifetimes that help you get more of an understanding about what you're going through and what maybe can be tackled and resolved if there's challenges. Now, is it necessary? Well, basically, guys, all memory is Akasha. All thought is Akasha. All time is Akasha. So everything that represents the data of the mind is the Akashic Records. Okay? So when you have a thought coming in, that's Akasha. When you remember something, that's Akasha. When you're looking at the clock and the time, there's an event coming up, that's Akasha. Okay? All of that is Akash. That's the nature of it. So you're accessing it all the time. But what you have to do is you have to train yourself to move much more deeper. Again, this is where intuition is being your guide. Okay? For those who can read the Akashic Records, they have strong intuition. I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I have the intuition to read the Akashic Records for people because I've been doing it now since 2011. So I've been doing it now for well over 11 years, reading the Akashic Records for people. Okay? And you have to really be in touch with your inner self. You have to be in touch with your intuition. And intuition just shows you all these things with the Akasha. So if I'm looking at somebody here named Bob, I'll say, okay, look, tuning into Bob right now, show me instances of his past life. Okay, then I'll see that he's a farmer. I'm saying that he's working with cows. He's milking cows. That he's taking cover in a big storm, right? So I'm telling him all these different things. I'm telling him about life events that are coming to me, that are flowing to me, and giving him these particular impressions. I don't doubt it. As soon as it comes, I just start sharing it. Okay? Sometimes I'll even use tarot just to kind of outline the flow of the lifetime so I can look at certain events. So here's something with Bob in his early life. Right? Here's something with Bob in his middle life. Here's something with Bob in his later life. And so again, I kind of sometimes I'll use the tarot to outline that, just to give me a good flow as I tune into the Akasha as well too. And it also gives me an idea of certain themes that Bob was going through. And I'll look into the Akasha through those themes, and the Akasha will tell me through intuition about how that goes. So you have to be really in touch with your intuition. Okay, there's some amazing psychic mediums on this planet. Okay, absolutely amazing. Way better than I am, right? Because they're able to give you times, they're able to give you dates. I've always had problems with those because I just see events. I get impressions of events. But some of them are so incredibly good, right? Their frontal lobe is so incredibly active that they'll go in and they'll give you such incredible detail with your Akashic Records and just telling you all about yourself. It's incredible because their frontal lobe is so incredibly active. This is the psychic center. When we look at the frontal lobe of the brain, that's the psychic center. Okay, I have somewhat of an active frontal lobe. But some other people who I've met, because I've got ratings from people before, and they blew me away. They're so incredibly accurate. They're naming names. They're giving me dates. They're giving me times about when other lifetimes are happening. And I couldn't even get that information because I'm not that fully active in the frontal lobe. But some of them are just incredible readers. So when I do it, I basically look at the message. What is the message trying to convey? I'm not looking too much into the fine details. Okay, this happened on October 3rd at 9:15 a.m., right? And it was back in 1835 or something like that. Okay, I don't really get that kind of information. I may get the feeling, okay, this is 18th, 19th century, because I'll see horse carriages, right? I may go back and I'll look into the Native Americans, right, when they were living here in North America, not dealing with invaders, right? So I look back at that, okay, maybe 13th, 14th century, maybe something of that nature. So I'll get impressions, estimations in that way. But again, this all just comes through your intuition. The more sharper you are, the more that you meditate, right? The more that you meditate on the frontal lobe, on the brain, the more that you meditate on yourself, the more that you meditate even on the heart as well too. All of this opens up. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about when we're doing this? Okay, the B breath. That's a really great thing to open up your psychic centers. That's a really great thing to open up your heart. And like I said, when we're really looking at the psychic centers, we look at the chakras as well too. Okay, this is your empathic center. This is what's making you empathic. An empath all comes to the heart. This is the telepathic center. Okay, the telepathic center here is in the throat. It's not here. It's right here. It's at the throat. The pit of the throat chakra, the Vishuddhi, is the telepathic center of your body. Okay, this here is actually being able to go into the mind of another. Okay, basically being able to go into someone else's mind, know exactly what they're thinking, knowing exactly what they're feeling, knowing exactly their personality, knowing all of those things. It's one who has a very highly developed Anya chakra, can actually just go into the mind of everybody and get any kind of information they want. I can't even do that yet. I can touch on it a little bit. I can do a little bit because I have entered other people's bodies without them knowing through certain practices in the past. And I have gone into, and I can feel people's personality to a certain degree. So you could say I have a light version of the Anya chakra active in that way. But there's people that are so incredibly profound. They know exactly what you're going to say when you say it. They know exactly what you're thinking when you're thinking it. They know exactly what you're feeling when you're feeling it. They know exactly the emotion you're going to express when you're expressing it. They could tell you everything about that. That's entering the mind of another. Okay? Because the mind is open source. The mind is an open source construct. So when we have that great adaptability and capability, we can go into people's minds, we can go into people's bodies, we can feel their thoughts, we can feel their feelings, we can feel their emotions. It's all possible. Okay? I've done it myself in many different ways. I actually had an ex-partner who I was actually going in because she was doing a yoga class. And she felt very distraught. She wanted to make sure that she was going to do a very, very good yoga class. And I told her, I'll just sit in the background of your class and I'll take in your emotions so that you are nice and clear. Well, I did it. And people were turning to me because I was like crying and sobbing because I was feeling her emotions so that she could be stable teaching her class. And I'm like, ooh, I'm doing this and I'm just crying my head off. And people are just looking at me. Like, what is that guy's problem? What's going on with him? Right? And I didn't do that again because that just didn't work. It was something that I was getting intuitive guidance to try. It's not a good idea. All right. I was a sobbing, blubbery mess in the back corner of a yoga class. And I'm just like just crying my head off because I was taking on her emotions so that she could stabilize herself so that she could have a good class. Right? That was like back in 2014, I think it was. Quite some time ago. But nonetheless, that's possible, right? You can basically tune into a person, you can tether to their heart, and you can actually feel their emotions. You just tell Spirit to send it to you. It's exactly what I was getting. I was getting tons of her emotions. It wasn't just one thing. It was tons. It was like a river, right? Like, and I had to spend off the next little while to clear a lot of that stuff out as well, too. So a lot of things you guys can do. Guys, your mind is not private. There's no such thing as a private mind, okay? All thoughts are open source. Your behavior is open source. Okay? Your personality is open source. Okay? There's no guardianship from that. If a person knows what they're doing, they can enter your mind. They know exactly what you're thinking. They know exactly what you're doing. They know exactly what you're feeling. They know your entire personality without even having to meet you. That's how gifted some of these psychic mediums are, right? So like I said, I'm a decent reader myself. And I'm constantly getting downloads all the time, so I'm all right. But there's these readers I've met, they're astounding. They're absolutely astounding people. It's just wonderful to see the kind of people that are here on the earth today. All right? Okay, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode of New Earth TV Live. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll be back next week for another episode, and we'll work on that chemtrail meditation as well, too, as suggested. And we're going to I'll probably have some more videos coming up this week as well, too. So thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me for New Earth TV Live, and I'll see you all next week. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar, and may it be well with you all. Take care. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new Body Deck Special Edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.